Hi everyone, Kieran Oversappian for Filmstorm Studios bringing you part 3 of our GTA single-player asset tutorial series. And where we left off, if I press play, we finished setting up our input look direction. So this is what we're going to use to drive our really nice step animations that you can find in that Filmstorm Professional Animation Pack that we downloaded at the very start. So let me just bring this game view back up here, just so we can see this. And what we're going to do is, now that we're starting the animations, we need a character controller to manage our collisions and other things that our player might be running into in the game world, so that way he's not going to pass through walls and fall through floors and stuff like that. So simply we just added that component, the character controller, and we're just going to resize that so it fits him a little bit better. So let's just bring down the height, and we just want to make sure this is kind of touching. I mean, we're going to probably be editing this when we're in the game later, but this is just a nice little rough thing. Let's just get that around there. That should be fine to start off with. And now what we're going to do is we're actually going to put our new FSM. And this is actually going to be our main FSM. This is going to be called the movement _ base. And this is where we're going to come and set up all our the actual controller that drives our character's animations in the animator tab. So what we might do first is jump into the animator tab, and we'll actually get started in setting up the animations themselves. So what we need first is some actual parameters to get driven. So let's put down a float. We're going to put input X, input Z. We're going to put another one, input magnitude. This is a pretty big one because this drives a lot of the animations. We're going to put one angle to target. We're going to put one is left up. So this is for which foot we're going to finish walking on. Sorry, this should have been, let me just delete that one. This should have been a bull. Is left up, and let me delete this one, and this one should be another bull, and this should be is right up. And we're going to create another bull and is walk mode. We're going to create another bull is run mode, and this should be enough to get us started for now. And what we're actually going to do first is we're actually going to put down a new blend tree. So let's let's right mouse click and create a blend tree, and we're going to call this one start walking. And we're actually going to make transition, and this transition we want to have no exit time. So as soon as the player presses the movement button, it will instantly transition. But we need to put some conditions down for this. So we're going to press plus, and we're going to put input magnitude is greater than 0.1. And then let's dive into here. And inside here, we're actually going to have a 1D tree. And instead of that, we're going to have the angle to target. And let's put down 5 motions. Perfect. And we're going to be customizing the thresholds. And what we want to change these to is -135. You can pretty much just copy these values, -90, 0, and then +90, and then 176. I found these are the best values to use. And then we're going to look up in our search field. If you've got my animation pack, you should see we have walk start. So we want to put walk forward start in 0. We want to put walk start left at -90. Walk start right at, well, that should be 90. Don't know why that's 1. So that should be right start, that one. And then we want to put walk start forward left and walk start forward right. Perfect. So we can jump out of this one now. And then we want to create a walk forward, and we're just going to call this one walking, because this is when he's walking. So we want to, that just needs to be a straight transition to the walking node. That doesn't have to, we don't have to worry about exit time, because we have to keep that checked. So when he's finished walking, he will start walking until we stop walking. And when we stop walking, we need to pull out, is it going to be stopping on the left foot or on the right foot? And then we're going to put down 2 transitions, and we're going to attach these ones up here, and also we're going to attach them to the start walking, because he might start and then the player might press it again, in which we would go back to here. So what we need to do now is this transition will be no exit time, is the left foot up or is the right foot up. And that's pretty much it for that. And then if the player happens to press input magnitude, and if this is greater than 0.1, then he'll start walking again. So let's put these ones down. So if he happens to press that again, we can turn off that. That should be fine. So let's turn these 2 exit times off. And let's then we need to keep exit times for going back to idle. So if the player lets go of the controller, he will just go back to idle once he finished playing. Otherwise, if the player presses it, you want instant reaction, so that way he'll start moving again. So that is pretty much that first thing all set up. So now we need to set up our FSM to actually drive all of our motions. So let's jump into here, and let's have a look at our playmaker. So what we want to do first is we want to set some variables. So let's call this one set variables. Perfect. And let's control click on that and get it finished, and you can control click out here to create a new node. And I like for these ones to use a circuit, because this will actually keep it a lot neater, especially once we have a lot more complicated things happening. And I might even change this to like a green, so this is where it's starting. And what we're going to do is we're going to call this one idle, and we're going to call this the walk mode. So that way we know that this is when he's walking, because we're going to have other variables, like we're going to have other trees where he's running and crouching, and when he has weapons and stuff out. So this is just to keep it nice and organized. So first, what we're going to do is we want to let's see. So what we want to do first is we want to set the animatable to is the walk mode, because this is when this is this walk mode, so we want to make sure that's what he's doing. And we also want to, let's just copy and paste this so it's easier, and we want to also set is left foot up. Well, we don't have to worry about this right now. And is right foot up, we don't want to worry about it, because he's currently walking. He shouldn't be calling any of those actions. And we also want to set animator float. We want to set the angle to target, and we're going to fill in this value in a little bit. And we want to also copy this one and paste this. And we also want to set the input magnitude, and we're going to fill this one in later. So let's also set these both to every frame. Alrighty, and the next thing we're going to add is get signed angle to target, which is going to be a custom action. So you can see this here, but I'm actually going to put this on the site, and I'll link that in the description, so you can just download this action and drag that into your assets folder, and then it will automatically load in here. And basically this is going to get this angle that we set up for the quad texture input direction compass before. So this is going to make your life a lot easier. So what we're going to do is just double click on this one. Perfect. And we're just going to grab the compass arrow and drag that in there. We're going to not worry about that, and we're just going to store this angle as a new variable. And guess what? It's going to be the angle to target, and that's going to be that angle that we're going to always be grabbing, so that way we can know which way we're going to be moving. Excellent. And now we want to get axis I want to put 2 of those down, and I'm just going to move this to the bottom so we keep working the same way. And we want to get the horizontal, and we want to store this as input X, which you might notice from the animator. We want to put vertical, and we want to save this as input Z, and then we want to get the axis vector. I'll move that over there and move that to the bottom. And with this one, we're going to be getting and storing the input vector and the input magnitude. Lovely. Another one we need to add is float compare. And we're going to be comparing the input magnitude to 0.8. So if it's greater than 0.8, we're going to start walking. So we need to create a new event for that one. So let's call start walking. And let's add that in, and we can control click. And let's just call this new state start walking. And like I said before, we want to change that. Let's jump back to the walk mode. And we want to say if it's greater than, we're going to start walking. And we're going to change that to every frame. Excellent. So now that we set up those other things, we need to just jump back up here. And we want to set the animator float to the value of input magnitude for input magnitude. And angle to target is angle to target. Lovely. Now, in start walking, we are going to put a simple weight down, weight for 0.4. And we want to also set this one just to a new event because that's what's going to drive it to the next one. And we're going to call that one walking. So let's just pop this one in here. So it's walking. And let's connect that guy up. And in here, we're going to change that to a circuit. Perfect. And let's keep that so it's kind of flowing. So it's like da 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 da. That's nice. Nice. It's nice to keep it all organized. All right. So back in start walking, we're going to set animator float, and we're going to get 2 of those. And what we're going to do is we're going to change angle to target to angle to target. And we're going to change input magnitude to input magnitude, and we're going to have every frame. So we want that to update to the animator float, and we're going to get the axes again. So let's get axis, and we're going to get that axis, and we're going to get the vector. So this is the only things we need for this one. So let's store that as that input magnitude as input magnitude. And we're also going to get horizontal input X and vertical. Just make sure you put these under the right way, and input Z. So you want to make sure it's definitely like that. So that is all set up, and let's now add that weight event, and let's put that to walking. Alrighty, so now we're getting closer. We're now currently walking. So let's put walking in there. So let's start working on the walking. So now that we're walking, we need to set animatable. Let's put 2 of those down. We need to set is left and is right because he hasn't finished walking. Sorry, that needs to be unchecked. We need to set another animatable. And we want to change that to walk mode because we are still walking. We want to set animator float. And this animator float is going to be input magnitude, and that's going to be every frame. We want to get that axis again, the 2 axes. We're going to say horizontal. Put that in input X, and vertical. And we're going to put that input Z. I mean, it's a lot of setup, but in the end, you're going to get a really nice result. It's going to be all super functional. Let's move that to the bottom. we're going to get the input vector and input magnitude. And now we want to set the animator float. We want to put 2 of those down. So let me say send to bottom, and what we want to be setting is input X to input X and input Z to input Z, and we're going to say every frame for those 2. Now we're going to set smooth look at. Lovely. And we're going to be looking at the smooth look at object. So smooth look at object. So look at object. So we're going to be looking at that, and the speed is going to be the smooth look at speed. Now you don't have to worry about that because we're going to set those variables independently, and we're also going to use a new flute compare to finish the whole event off. So when the input magnitude is 0.1 and it is less than, we're going to create a new event, and this is going to be stop walking. So let's put that in there. Let's create this one, set that up. Let's make this red so that way we know that he's going to be stopping. Excellent. And this one is just saying, now that it's less than, we're going to stop walking. Excellent. And now what we just need to quickly do in our smooth look at object, go to variables, smooth look at object, and we want to drag in that compass arrow. Smooth look at speed is going to be set at 7. So that's good. Now we want to test which foot to stop on. So we want to see which foot we're going to stop on. So let's create 2 events. We're going to call this left up and right up. So which foot will be doing it? So let's add both of these. And let's create 2. So it's going to be the left foot and it's going to be the right foot. Let's name these ones right up and left up. And then both of these are going to be finished. So let's drag this up to here. And then let's just quickly fix up all these link styles. Link style, and link style. And let's keep that like that. And keep that like that. So that way we can see everything really nicely. And that's a really nicely logical layout. Might just move that out a little bit more. So that way it's nice and easy to follow. So right now I'm thinking we should actually save our scene. So let's create a new folder and call this scenes. Oh. Call this scenes. Jump in there and let's just call this our test scene because this is what we're setting up. Wonderful. So now we need to actually create an FSM to get which foot we're stopping on. So let's close this out. And what we want to do is we want to create a new FSM. We're going to call this which foot, because which foot are we going to be stopping on? Who knows? We need to set this kind of stuff up. So first we need to get feet. So we need to find the feet. So let's get FSM game object. We want to put 2 of these down, and then we want to put a weight. And the weight is going to be, and the weight will be 0.2, and then it's going to be finished. Lovely. So remember how we had these variables that we set up before, and this is the kind of area that we're going to actually set up all of these kind of things. So let's go action. We're going to say set game object. we want to put 3 down. This first variable is going to be player obj. Next one will be our left foot, and next one is going to be our right foot. And we're going to now get player model. So player model is our player object. Now we need to find in our actual bones our right foot. So that's the right foot, and in our left foot, our left foot. Perfect. So now we go back to which foot, and we're going to get which foot. Oops, sorry, we're going to get movement base, and we're going to store the left foot as left foot, and we're going to get movement base, we're going to get the right foot, and we're going to store this as the right foot. Excellent. So now that we've done that, we're going to create 2 variables. We're going to call this one LU, and we're going to call this one RU. And let's just plug the finished into that first one. And we're going to create 2 events. We're going to say is LU and is RU. So if you're an LU, you're going to be going to is RU. And if you're in is RU, you're going to be going to is LU. Wonderful. So now we want to get we're going to get position, and then we're going to do float compare, and we're actually going to get 2 of these. We're going to get 2 get positions, and I'm going to move that to the bottom. So we're going to get the position of the left foot, and we're going to store that as left underscore y, and we're going to get that every frame. And we're going to then get the position of our right foot. We're going to store this as our right underscore y, and every frame. Now we're going to compare this left y to right y, and if it is greater than, we're going to say is LU. Now we can copy all of these. Let's copy and paste these into LU, and then simply all we're going to do instead of that, we're going to say is right y greater than left y, and then we're going to say is RU. So now we're going to get these 2 states that are constantly going depending on which side our feet is. So now let's go back to movement base, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to get the FSM state test to see which state we're actually in that one. So we're going to say FSM state test. We're going to be testing, technically we're going to be testing player model. So let's drag that in. We're going to be getting which foot, and we're going to say RU. And if it is true, we're going to go to RU. If it's false, then it's obviously going to be LU, and we're going to say all good bro. So let's go to RU, and let's set animator bool, and we're going to say is RU yes, and set animator float. We're going to say input magnitude is 0 because we don't want him to move anymore, and we're going to set a weight, not a random weight, sorry, get rid of that one. We want to set a weight of 0.2, and we're going to say finished. Lovely. So then we can just come and copy these and paste these into LU, and we're just going to change this to is LU. So now you can see why we set up these ones to turn them back off again, so he's not constantly stopping and starting. So what we want to check now is if the character pressed the walking button, because do you remember in our animator we said he could, if he was stopping, he could actually start walking again straight away. So we need to set up that connection in here. So what we need to do is we need to check this. We need to say get animator current state info is tag. This is a really powerful command, and what we can do is we can say if the tag is walking, let's make that capital W, is walking, then we're going to say start walking. And we need to create a new event for that, and let's just drag that straight down. So that way we know that if the character presses walking again, he's going to start walking straight away. So that should be perfect. And now we need to set that up in our animator. So if you go to this transition, I believe, let me just double check. Yeah, so in this walking, we're going to create a tag and we're going to call this walking. Alrighty, so now that we've got all this good stuff set up, I think we should be good to quickly test it out and see just in fact what's going to happen. So let's cross our fingers and press play. Alrighty, so as you can see, our character is rotating, but I don't think our camera is perfectly set up yet. So let's check this. So we're gonna camera follow. That's why the camera follow wasn't in the player. So let's move that in there. Let's press play. Alrighty, so that's looking nice. At least we're moving in that direction. So what we need to do now is we need to fix up the look at rotation areas. So what we need to do is actually, I just realized we made an error when we originally started. We just need to move this one out, and let's just zero this guy. And we want to just move both of these ones out. So that way, when we press play, that way you can see it's gonna be working now. I would have been scratching my head for a little bit. So now you can see that we're perfectly getting all these really nice starting angles. No matter which way you press, he's gonna dynamically blend in that direction, and you're not gonna get any more dodgy animations. And when you press stop, let's just check the feet. This is that gap that we're getting is because of the character capture. Let me just actually fix that up. Now if you go Control Shift P, we can actually pause it, and let's find where he is. There you are. And what we can do, let's just press play, and let's click on our player, and we want to probably just raise up that a little bit. Let's make this 0.95, 92, or 8. We probably want more, don't we? Yeah. So we want 1.020. No. What about 0.99? That looks good. Okay, so we want to change that to 0.99. Let's just double check that gap. Okay, it's looking much nicer, Sophie. So now you can see, no matter which, so I'm going to let go of the controller now. He uses the correct foot to stop. And if I actually go and bring up the which foot and snap that on the side. Alright, so I just had a little look. There's actually a much better way to get these ones, and we can just actually say set game object for these ones. For some reason it's not quick enough to actually bring it through. And we're going to say left foot and right foot, and we're going to grab, I say cancel. We're going to get left foot, and we're going to get right foot. So now you'll see it will actually bring that through properly, and that way when we're stepping, it's going to use the correct foot to stop, which is really nice. So that's a nice, easy fix for that. And you'll also notice, depending on where I'm pointing the camera, he'll also blend in that direction really well. So if I push that way, it's going to blend that way. I'll blend that way. So it's a really, really professional blending type of animation, because this way you're not just kind of going straight to a walk and he's looking really weird. He's actually going to blend perfectly. And as you can see, before he stops walking, I'm actually going to press it again, and that way he didn't finish the animation, but he started to blend straight into the other direction, which is another nice feature. So he's transferring his weight rather than just blending straight into the animation. So everyone, this has been part 3. This has been a pretty long tutorial, around 31 minutes and counting now. So thanks so much for watching up to part 3, and I hope you look forward to part 4, where we'll start to put in some weapons and possibly even start looking at some of the parkour systems, but that's probably going to be more in part 5. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode.